Okay, this is my review of the Li-Ning Yueying Pro. I don't know if I pronounced the name of the shoe right. It is Yueying. I'll have it, of course, in the description title. But so as I was doing this series on brands from the East, I saw this shoe on Amazon, and then I saw it on AliExpress. To me, it hinted towards a Super Blast type of design, greater than max, over 40 millimeter heel stack, dual layer type of setup. So I was looking for a long run daily shoe to include into my reviews. I saw the pricing, it went on sale, and so I decided to pick this one up. So a little bit about Li-Ning. Li-Ning is actually named after a person. So the founder is Li-Ning. He is a gymnast. He won 6 gold medals in the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. He won 3 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze. He founded the company in 1990. And they're one of the premier Chinese sports brands, often ranking just behind the competitors like Nike and Adidas in the Chinese market. They focus heavily on footwear, apparel, and equipment for basketball, running, fitness, and badminton. The company is aggressively expanding internationally with a target of 30% revenue from non-mainland markets by 2025. So last year, that's a little bit of dated information, but you definitely see that they are pushing into more markets right now. They have notable partnerships with players like Dwyane Wade out of the NBA. They secured Chinese sports delegation's apparel contract from 2025 to 2028. They have significant R&D investment and drives and innovations for things like their boom foam. And I can just tell you that looking at their overall lineup, they definitely seem to be on the innovative side with their shoe tech. So they operate a mix of direct retail and flagship stores. We don't have any in the US, but I have seen some people that have actually gone over to China, and they have some really nice looking flagship stores for the Li-Ning product. So I picked this up. Wanted to give Li-Ning a try. This is the first of, I think, what will end up being 5 shoes from this brand. I might have went a little overboard, but yeah, I got excited about the shoes because they offer a variety of styles and functions within running. So I wanted to give them a shot. My review goal, again, so this gave me a flavor when I looked at it of a Super Blast type of shoe. And doing some research on this shoe, I've seen some other reviewers compare it to the Super Blast. I tried to start my review without that completely in mind and just looking at this shoe for what I intended it for, and that was a steady pace long run shoe, daily trader type. So that is my review goal, is looking at it for that. But of course, it's going to be hard not to compare it a little bit to the Super Blast, so I will give some feedback on that during the review. So that's it for the preface. I will get into the deets and usage. And okay, so my size 12s came in weighing 10.7 ounces on each shoe, so great quality there. If I extrapolate that, that's roughly an 8.8 ounce for a sample size of a 9. I'm guesstimating on that, but that's roughly what you would maybe see. 10.7 on a greater than max shoe, so pretty good weight. It doesn't hit my lightweight criteria, which is around 10, but it's not far off, and it's greater than max. Heel stack, from what again I could find on other reviews and ChatGPT, it seems to be somewhere between 42 and 44 millimeters. When I put this on with the shoe of the Super Blast, they feel pretty even. So I'm going to go with right around 44 in the heel. I have 55 miles or so on the Super Blast with some other wear on it, so might have worn down just a little bit, but it felt pretty even. The drop is around 7 to 8 millimeter drop. The upper is a single layered jacquard mesh. The outsole is a GCU It's their GCU compound. So it's supposed to be superior anti-slip, wet grip, and wear resistant. The midsole is a dual layer midsole. The base layer, so down in here, is an EVA, and then the top layer, which you can see through here and in hand and up close, it's very easy to see the difference in the foam material. I don't know if it's going to pick up that well on the camera, but you can see the Super Boom here is, and the EVA base layer is here. So similar to what Super Blast does with theirs. Super Boom is a Pebax based supercritical foam. There is no plate, but it does have a torsion shank in here. Not really sure if that's needed for this amount of foam, especially with the EVA in the base, but it is there. Amazon, when I originally did my Weave Use review, which if you get a chance, go check that out. It was running from 110 to 120 depending on colorway. On AliExpress, I've seen it between 70 and 100. I purchased the shoe off AliExpress and I paid a total of $73.92. That includes tax and shipping, so that's out the door cost. It was during their anniversary sale, but I've seen it right around $80 recently as well. So a good price for the shoe. Usage cases, I put 50 miles in. My long run was a 17.4 mile long run, and my shortest mile run was about 7-ish miles. So it was a very good medium to long run shoe. I did large steady state and easy pace, but the shoe can pick up the pace a little bit if you want to throw in some strides. It doesn't want to live there though. I ran on concrete, tarmac, light trail conditions, grass, dirt, mostly in dry states. Till the last week we haven't gotten a lot of rain here in Texas. I did run on a wet street in my neighborhood that had construction going on, so it was actually a good test because they tend to have grit in with the wet, and it did great. That is it. Oh, well, I also did probably between 7 to 10 miles of walking on top of the 51 miles of running. It's a nice walking shoe. So I kept wearing it and it worked good in the office. Goes with my office clothes well. I like the design. So that is it for the Deets and the use cases. So now I'll get into a little bit more details about the upper, the outsole, and the midsole, and give you my feedback on those. All right, the upper. So the laces are a nice strong lace. I really like these laces. Got along with them well. They stayed tied. They did their job. When they locked in, they stayed locked in. When they were tied, they stayed tied. Can't ask much more than that from lace. The tongue is lightly padded, and it's got some probably laser cut 3D holes in there for breathability, and then some plastic protection right along here, and it's a little bit beefed up as well, just for protection from the tie down on the laces. I really like this tongue design. It is fully gusseted as well, so great job, Li-Ning. $80 shoe, or $120 if you buy it on Amazon. Still, you get all the stuff you're looking for a premium shoe on this. Very nicely done. The upper is a single layer jacquard mesh with TPU overlays. The upper has some lighter mesh. You can't see, I don't know if you can see the patterns in here. So when I was wearing black socks, it would give it kind of a black shadow in there, or gray socks, gray shadow. And then white socks, it would make it a little bit more white. So you got some see-through and airiness there, which is pretty nice. The heel collar, probably it's built for comfort. So it's got the thicker padding on it, which is very comfortable in step in. But I'll probably avoid this in August in Houston because this will just soak up my sweat. But I've seen much worse. It's Nikes are bigger than this on their Vomera Plus. So this is still reasonable, but just a little bit thicker than I like in summer. It's a fairly rigid heel cup, but the upper provided good lockdown. Just make sure, it provided good lockdown. I had nice toe room, both width-wise and also vertical-wise. No hot spots, no rubbing, great fit. I have seen some other reviewers state that Li-Ning has even stated that some of their shoes can run small. Now, I currently have 5 shoes in different status of, doing a review now. I got another one that's coming in the door for a review. I've got 60 miles on that one. Another one that's got 28 miles on it. Another one I've done walking in it. And then there's another pair that I'm waiting to show up. They've all fit perfectly for me. So I would say if you're a borderline, maybe move up. If shoes tend to fit a little snug for you, maybe go to that next half size up if it's available. But I can state for me, it's been a true to size fit and comfortably true to size. Like, it's fitting exactly the way I would want it to fit. So that is it for the fit. So that is everything on the upper. So next up is the outsole. Okay, so the outsole has a smattering of what they call their ground control unit or rubber, the GCU. So it is a liquid rubber and it's done very well. I'm getting very little wear. I got just a touch of wear on my high wear area, especially on my left foot. That's the one I normally murder. But this is doing good. It's great in the wet conditions I talked about earlier with the construction going on in the neighborhood. There was water and grit on the roads, and I made sure to run right through it just to see if I had slippage or anything like that. I did not. Great grip in dry conditions. I don't think this one wasn't squeaking in the office, which is nice. I can't say enough so far that the Chinese outsoles have performed just way above expectations. So I expect above average durability out of this outsole. So the only thing you have to expect is, because of the exposed foam, which we see on a lot of shoes nowadays, is you're going to see some damage to the foam. It's not going to affect the function of the shoe, but just expect to see it. It's not going to remain pretty. I think I have about 50 miles of running and probably close to another 10 of walking, and you can see some, just some fraying along there. It's not horrible. But just expect to see it. But you shouldn't be looking at the underside of your shoes a whole lot anyway, especially when you're running. And you can see the Li-Ning there and the foam. It's cool. But that's it on the outsole. Honestly, it's been great. Like a lot of the other shoes so far I've run in. So next up, I will get into the midsole. Okay, so kind of like the X-Step shoe that I did a review on, this definitely starts out firm. And for lighter runners, it may remain firm. I can't comment on that. I am not overweight, but I'm not a light runner. So both is, I do have some meat on my bones, but also I put a lot of force into my running gait. So I tend to get a different experience from people who have a lighter running gait. If you're a gazelle runner, you're not going to run like me. I run like an elephant, even if I'm a skinnier elephant. I just plop on the shoes, just all force into it. So around 10 miles, I started noticing that this was breaking in a little bit, and then it got really nice around 17 miles. Now, I will say it's not a springy nice. It's more of a plush cushion nice. Around 17 miles, if you've heard of Topo, Topo Atmos 2 has been one of my favorite shoes over the past year. I did 60 miles of running in it overnight in the charity event. And this upper foam kind of started breaking in and feeling like the zip foam in that. So it's more of a slower compression and decompression, so a softer feel. So it's not snappy, it's not springy. It's just very comforting. So on long runs, especially when I'm easy or steady pace, I enjoy that. So it gives you back, it guides you along, it protects you along the way. It does exactly what I was hoping this shoe would do for me on long runs. I had no issues on that 17 plus mile run. My feet felt great, my legs felt great, felt protected. I probably could have gone longer, but I had something going on that day, so it wasn't the shoes that stopped me from going even longer than that. I would have no problem if I wanted to take an easy an easy pace marathon, I would have no problems doing that in this shoe. It's also, I did my first marathon in a glycerin 20, and that's probably an ounce and a half, 2 ounces heavier than this. So I would have no issues on this one. The shoe is taller too, so just something to keep in mind. It has a nice platform. It's not the widest of shoes, but it is wider. When you land, you feel planted. It's not unstable. It's a very firm midsole, both that way and that way. I can't get a whole lot in there. So again, I'm not sure why they have that torsion plate in there. I think it's plenty firm enough. Actually, I wonder if things might be a little less firm if they took that out, which might be something they could look at for the next version to soften it up a little bit. But I really enjoy the foam. But again, I will reiterate, I might be getting a nicer feedback because of my running style. I put a lot of force into the shoe, so it might have broken it down and given me a different feedback than somebody who's lighter on their feet than I am. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you like a firmer shoe, if you like the Super Blast 2, this might be something to go look at if they made the 3 too soft for you. But I will get into a little bit of a Super Blast 2 comparison here in a minute. So again, the ride of the shoe is very smooth. It has more of a traditional geometry to it, but it's very smooth. It's not clunky, but it's not giving you anything extra. So it's not like a little foreshadowing here. It's not like the Red Hair Ultra, which is a pogo stick. This is a comforting. It's going to guide you along, but you're going to put the effort into it to get the effort back. But again, it's very comfortable underfoot. So yeah, again, it's the kind of shoe that you can kind of forget is underfoot and enjoy your run, but you're not going to get the crazy spring back. So I will get into a little comparison with the Super Blast 2 next. Okay, Super Blast 2 and the Li-Ning 5 Pro. So they definitely have a similar upper geometry, similar underfoot, setup in the midsole, similar probably use case scenario. Stack height, drop, all of that very similar. What I will say is from here up, I went and ran around my streets a little bit, and one shoe on one foot, the other shoe on the other foot, just to kind of see how they felt in comparison underfoot. Super Blast 2 definitely has more spring. It's just a more responsive shoe. So if you're looking for that, more super trainer type of feel underneath foot, you're going to get that in the Super Blast. Where I prefer the Li-Ning 5 Pro is from here back. I forgot just how much of a flare we get on the Super Blast, and there's something in this back area that is clunky. So if I could take this back half of the Li-Ning and put it on the Super Blast, it'd give me the shoe I was hoping I was going to get in the Super Blast 2. Because I was a huge fan of the Super Blast OG. Not so much on the 2 because it just became clunky underfoot for me for some reason. It just messed with my gait cycle. What I'll also say is, from a pacing perspective, I have a similar experience in that both shoes are very good at finding that pace, that pocket that you want to kind of stay in, and it helps keep you there. It's just that this tends to be a little bit of a slower pace where that pocket finds itself. The Super Blast, to me, it keeps you at a higher pace. So whether that's a good or a bad thing, depending on what you're wanting to run in, is up to you. To me, I prefer the pacing of the Super Blast, but I don't think I want to pay $120 more to get just that. This is an excellent shoe for the price I paid for $80. This is not $120 better than this shoe. The quality is equal. I mean, no joke. The quality of the shoe, they're equal. It's just that the setup of the foam, it's more responsive here, but Li-Ning has the foam in-house to match it. It's just that they have to get it set up. They formulated this to be a denser, firmer feel. Some people said that about this one, but for me, these are similar, but this is not quite here. But it's $120 less. So if you are somebody who got the Super Blast 3, which I have not run in yet, and you want a firmer shoe, you might want to take a look at this. It's going to be a lot less, even less than, because I think I saw some of these still available, but they're $150. I can still get this for $80. So you're still saving another $70. So it might be worth it to check this out if you're missing a little bit of a firmer feel. But I just want to be clear, they're not equal. Of course, I like the heel better, but they're still not equal underfoot. But they're not far away either. So just it's something to keep in mind if you're looking for a little bit of a firmer, long run shoe that has a similar dual layer setup. So next up, so some final thoughts here. So first of all, I found some different colorways on AliExpress than what I found on Amazon. Amazon prices seem to be a little bit higher than AliExpress, and I have had nothing but great experience with AliExpress. So if you're interested in this shoe, by all means, Amazon can be safe and affordable, but you might be able to save some money by going to AliExpress. And I'm getting their shoes within 10 to 14 days in most cases. So just saying, you might have some things available. So this is my first shoe from Li-Ning. I have several more coming. As I noted, some more are actually in process and getting miles on it. So far, Li-Ning's quality is top notch. They are as good as the top brands that we are used to in the West. This specific shoe, I like putting it on. I plan on wearing it today to go out with the wife and walk around in it. It's a nice long run shoe, comfortable, does good, protective. $80 out the door, hard to complain about that. So that is it for this Li-Ning shoe. Hope you guys are getting the great miles in, and have a great day. Cheers.